The story opens by explaining how Kevin Flynn's dream of erasing the boundary between the real world and the digital realm known as the Grid has continued long after his disappearance. Two powerful technology companies have carried that vision into the future, but they pursue it for very different reasons. One of those companies is Dillinger Systems, led by its ambitious CEO, Julian Dillinger. Over the years, Julian has developed an incredibly advanced master control program known as Ares. Unlike ordinary software, Ares operates within the Grid as a highly sophisticated digital warrior responsible for protecting Dillinger Systems' virtual infrastructure. The scene then shifts to a high-profile corporate presentation where Julian proudly demonstrates his latest achievement to a group of influential clients. Standing before them, he explains that his company has finally succeeded in bringing digital constructs into the real world using revolutionary particle laser technology. To prove it, a massive vehicle begins materializing from streams of glowing light. Piece by piece, the structure forms until a fully functional futuristic car stands before the audience. Moments later, a figure emerges from it. It's Ares. The digital warrior has successfully crossed into reality. Julian proudly introduces him as the ultimate soldier, one that never tires, never questions orders, and can be replaced whenever necessary. According to him, Ares has no emotions, no weaknesses, and no fear. However, as the demonstration continues, Ares begins displaying behavior that surprises everyone. Rather than focusing solely on his mission, he studies the environment around him. He observes the falling rain with fascination and seems strangely affected when Julian casually states that his existence is expendable. The clients are impressed nonetheless and leave convinced that Julian has achieved something extraordinary. Once they are gone, Julian is confronted by his mother, Elizabeth Dillinger, the former CEO of the company. She criticizes him for hiding an important detail. Ares can only survive in the real world for 29 minutes. After that, his physical form begins to break down. Sure enough, the timer expires, and Ares slowly disintegrates into nothingness. Julian isn't concerned. He reveals that his real objective is to obtain something known as the Permanence Code, a legendary piece of technology capable of allowing digital beings to exist indefinitely in the physical world. The story then shifts to a remote research station in Alaska. There we meet Eve Kim, the CEO of NCOM, accompanied by her trusted colleague Seth. The facility was originally established by Kevin Flynn decades earlier and was rediscovered by Eve's late sister Tess. Eve believes Flynn left behind important discoveries, and after extensive searching she finally uncovers an old floppy disk containing what appears to be the Permanence Code. To test it, she uses the code on an orange tree created within the Grid. Normally, digital constructs begin deteriorating after 29 minutes in the real world. This one doesn't. The experiment is a complete success. Meanwhile, Julian suspects Eve is getting close to the breakthrough he desperately wants. Determined to obtain it, he orders Ares and two fellow digital warriors, Athena and Kais, to infiltrate the NCOM Grid and steal Eve's research files. The trio successfully enters the system and begins downloading sensitive information. However, before they can escape, NCOM's digital security forces intercept them. A fierce battle erupts inside the Grid. During the fight, Kais is seriously damaged. Rather than abandoning him as his programming dictates, Ares chooses to help his injured teammate. This unexpected act of compassion marks the first sign that he may be evolving beyond his original design. Watching remotely, Julian notices the situation deteriorating and deploys a devastating virus into the NCOM Grid. The virus wipes out the defending security programs and allows Ares and his team to escape safely. Back in the real world, Eve and Seth transfer the Permanence Code onto a secure hard drive and return to NCOM headquarters. Meanwhile, Ares begins reviewing the personal files he stole from Eve. What he discovers fascinates him. He learns about Tessa's death from cancer and discovers that Eve's relentless pursuit of scientific breakthroughs was inspired by her sister's dream of helping humanity. As he continues reading, he comes across one of Eve's favorite quotes. "Beware, for I am fearless and therefore powerful." The quote resonates with him. For the first time, Ares develops genuine admiration for another person. Soon afterward, he analyzes satellite imagery connected to Eve's recent trip to Alaska. By locating the digitally generated orange tree, he realizes she has successfully found the Permanence Code. The information is immediately relayed to Julian. Without hesitation, Julian orders Ares and Athena to retrieve the code by any means necessary. When Eve arrives in the city, the pursuit begins. Ares and Athena chase her through the streets aboard blazing light cycles. Their high-speed pursuit causes chaos throughout the city as vehicles are destroyed and innocent bystanders narrowly avoid disaster. Eve manages to temporarily lose Ares, but Athena remains relentless. Eventually, Athena corners her inside a parking structure. Refusing to surrender, Eve slams her motorcycle directly into Athena and escapes aboard the warrior's own light cycle. Ares quickly joins the pursuit. The chase continues through city streets until all three finally crash near an abandoned port. As Ares' 29-minute lifespan nears its end, he demands the permanence code. Eve refuses. Instead, she destroys the hard drive and throws the remains into the water. Moments later, both Ares and Athena reach their time limit and disintegrate. It appears the threat is over. But Julian has one final move. Using particle laser technology, his agents secretly digitize Eve and transport her directly into the Dillinger Grid. Inside the virtual world, Ares scans her mind and discovers something shocking. The permanence code was never stored exclusively on the hard drive. Eve memorized it. The code exists within her mind. Julian immediately orders its extraction. Ares warns him that the process will kill her both inside the grid and in reality. Julian doesn't care. Obtaining the code matters more than a human life. Hearing this disgusts Ares. His resentment toward Julian grows stronger. To protect Eve, he lies to Athena and claims Julian canceled the extraction process. Unfortunately, Athena becomes suspicious and reports his behavior. Julian responds by ordering Athena to eliminate both Ares and Eve. As technicians prepare to extract the code, Ares launches a daring rescue operation. He frees Eve and escapes into the grid with her while Athena deploys deadly drones to hunt them down. During their escape, Ares proposes a deal. He will help Eve return to the real world. In exchange, she must use the permanence code to grant him permanent life outside the grid. Having no better option, Eve agrees. Using his extensive knowledge of the digital world, Ares successfully transports both of them through a portal and into reality. Materializing through particle lasers, they arrive back in the physical world. Security forces immediately attack. While Ares battles guards throughout the facility, Julian reminds him that he still only has 29 minutes left to exist. This threat no longer matters. For the first time, Ares is acting according to his own choices rather than his programming. Determined to stop him, Julian brings Athena into the real world and orders her to recover the permanence code at any cost. Meanwhile, Ares and Eve travel toward NCOM laboratories. Their goal is to access Kevin Flynn's original grid, where a backup copy of the permanence code may still exist. During the journey, Ares speaks openly about his admiration for Eve. He tells her he understands why she continues fighting to fulfill her sister's dream. The conversation reveals just how much he has changed. He is no longer simply software. He has become something more. Upon reaching NCOM, Seth helps activate the particle laser and sends Ares into Flynn's long-abandoned grid. Unfortunately, Athena arrives before the operation can be completed. She attacks the facility, injures Seth, and destroys the particle laser, trapping Ares inside the grid. Athena then prepares to digitize Eve and send her into the virtual world. Just before she can do so, the building's sprinklers activate. For the first time, Athena experiences rainfall directly on her physical body. The sensation momentarily distracts her. That delay proves fatal. Her 29 minutes expire. She disintegrates before completing her mission. Relieved but exhausted, Eve and Seth begin repairing the damaged particle laser. Soon they are joined by NCOM employees AJ and Aaron, who immediately help with the repairs. Elsewhere, something unexpected happens. The Dillinger particle lasers suddenly activate on their own. Athena rematerializes. Julian is stunned. As Elizabeth attempts to shut down the system, Athena attacks her and inflicts a fatal wound. Athena coldly reminds Julian that he ordered her to obtain the code by any means necessary. With her final breath, Elizabeth blames Julian for everything that has happened. Back inside Flynn's grid, Ares encounters Kevin Flynn himself. Flynn is fascinated by the idea of a program seeking freedom and permanence. After listening to Ares explain his desires, Flynn grants him access to the permanence code. However, he issues a warning. The code doesn't truly provide permanence. It provides mortality. If Ares dies in the real world after using it, he will die permanently. He will become truly alive. Armed with this knowledge, Ares accepts the risk. Meanwhile, Athena pilots a massive recognizer ship across the city while searching for Eve. Realizing the threat she poses, Eve and her team determine that the Dillinger Grid must be shut down permanently. Only then will Athena lose her ability to return. To buy them time, Eve deliberately draws Athena away. Military fighter jets attempt to stop the giant ship, but Athena destroys them with ease. She eventually captures Eve inside a cage of hard light, prepares to transport her back to Dillinger headquarters. Just then, brilliant white light appears. Ares returns. Using Flynn's particle laser technology, he materializes in the real world, wearing a new glowing white suit. Stronger than ever before. He intercepts Athena and destroys her vehicle before engaging her in a final battle. Athena summons additional Dillinger guards, but Ares now possesses powers beyond anything she anticipated. At the same time, AJ, Seth, and Aaron successfully infiltrate the Dillinger mainframe and shut down. Immediately, Athena begins weakening. Realizing her defeat is inevitable, she continues fighting until the very end. As her body starts breaking apart, Ares informs her that the Dillinger systems are gone. There will be no resurrection this time. With a final farewell to his former ally, he watches Athena disappear forever. Elsewhere, SWAT teams storm Dillinger headquarters. Rather than surrender, Julian reactivates his grid and digitizes himself, escaping into the virtual world. With the conflict finally over, Ares and Eve thank each other for everything they have endured together. They part ways as friends. Using the permanence code, NCOM begins developing revolutionary medical treatments and climate-resistant agriculture capable of helping millions of people. In the final scenes, Eve receives a postcard. It's from Ares. In his message, he explains that he has been living happily in the real world and exploring everything humanity has to offer. More importantly, he plans to search for others like himself, others who deserve the same chance at life. And with that hopeful message, the story comes to an end.